Okay, so we're going to carry on our adventure into the Purim story. Let's recap where we're up to so far. We started with the opening party of Achashverosh. He threw the party because he saw the end of the, how many years? 70 years. Which prophet told us would be in exile for 70 years? Jeremiah told us we'd be there for 70 years. He calculated, ended up being the third year of his reign. He throws a 180-day party. During the party, he gets very, very drunk. He calls his wife Vashti in to dance before him, wearing her crown and only her crown. She refuses because she had tzara'at. We said she contracted tzara'at, mistranslated as leprosy, but some kind of skin condition. And eventually he kills her. That leaves a vacuum. He needs a wife. Every king needs a queen. What does he do? He doesn't invite them. He grabs them off the street over all his provinces, including Shushan. Eventually finds a young girl. Well, actually not so young. Not so young. 30, 40, 50, some say even 60 years old. But they tell your mothers this, they love this, by the way, really. Any Jewish woman who hears this, suddenly they get all happy. They feel there's still a chance for them. Okay, so he goes and he grabs them. Who does he end up... What does he do with them when he grabs them, by the way? Eventually, he puts them for 1 year, right? And whatever they want, they get. Any forms of creams or lotions or servants. He grabs, however, one young woman by the name of Hadassah. Why was she called Hadassah? Because she had a beautiful olive green complexion, like Hadassim, like myrtle leaves. That's correct. He takes her, he grabs her, puts her in the harem. She's there for 1 year, yes.
Didn't you say that it's called that because when she heard about how...
That's also, the Mamloeh says also she turned a little green when she heard the fact that she was going to be taken by this individual. We're in chapter 2, Perek Beis. Follow inside, please. Verse 16. I think we just touched upon this last time. V'tilakach Esther. Now, v'tilakach means what? He took. Does that sound like he cajoled? Did he lead her? No. Right? She was taken against her will. El HaMelech Achashverosh, to King Achashverosh. There are opinions that she was willing to go, but at this point, which is about to be violated, should we say, she was taken against the will. El Beis Malchus b'Chodesh Hasiri, in the 10th month, Hu Chodesh Teves B'Shna Sheva Malchus, the 7th year of his reign. So 4 years have passed since the opening of our Megillah. And they say that she was a beautiful woman. She had tremendous chayim. One of the prophetesses of the Jewish people. V'ye'ahav HaMelech, verse 17. He falls madly in love with this young Jewish woman. Does he know she's Jewish yet? No, he does not. That's going to be a problem for him. It's going to irritate him. He's going to do a few things to try to extract that information. Yes. We're on verse 17, chapter 2, verse 17 of the Megillah. V'yahav HaMelech Esther. He fell in love. You've got to follow inside, guys, and take notes.
Wait, I have a question.
Yes.
I thought he never finds out that she's Jewish.
At the end, he's going to.
But when she tells him.
No. Yes, when she tells him. He's going to try to get out of her. She's not going to let go, though. He's going to try. We'll see. He's going to try something very unusual. He's going to do. Watch this amazing thing he tries. V'yahav HaMelech es Esther. He absolutely loved her. Mikol HaNashim, from all the other women. V'tziza chen v'chesed. She had tremendous chen. Chen means a grace. A beautiful grace. She had a certain charm to her. It wasn't just the look. She had a tremendous charm to her. V'chesed. And she had beautiful chesed lefanav. Mikol HaBatulot. From all the other young maidens that were there. V'yasem keter malcha barosha. He put the crown upon her head. That's obviously the sign that she's about to take over. V'yamlicheya tachat Vashti. And he put her instead of Vashti. By the way, I will note to you, however, that he didn't just take single women, he took married women as well. Okay, he made them against their will. That's important information. But when it says Tachat Vashti, it means that even though Vashti came from royal lineage, and he didn't know where she came from, because remember, we already told us that Mordechai said, don't tell him where you're from. A number of reasons why I did that. Most girls once found that she's Jewish, It could be problematic for the people. She knew Haman was rising up to power. Don't want to give him a reason to hate her as well, because she's going to use Haman in an incredible way. By the way, people have read the Megillah for years and years and years and years and don't know what I'm going to reveal to you of her incredible plan. Right? She's going to throw a party, then another party. Remember this whole thing a little bit? She's going to use Haman in an absolute genius, yet suicidal way. That's coming. That is coming. Okay? So Tachas Vashti means even though she wasn't Vashti, she wasn't royal blood, still he loved her as much as he loved Vashti, because he did love Vashti. And he didn't need that royal seal of approval. But he did want her to know her background. Yes?
When did her name change from Hadassah to Esther?
That's a good question. I think she's known as... I'm not too sure. Esther is how she's going to be referred to, right, for the entire Megillah. Once she moves into her secret undercover role as Jewish agent on behalf of the entire Jewish people, she's known as Esther because it means hidden. So was that how she referred to? They say actually the word Esther, I think in Persian, is a star. Like something like that. So there has maybe some kind of relevance to that language as well. But we're going to see later on that the word Esther comes from Anochi Hastir Astir Panai. Hashem hides his face at certain times. We're going to come to that a little bit later. Okay, so what's he going to do? V'yas HaMelech Mishte Gadol. He makes a very, very great feast for all peoples. Now he makes another party. Now this is many years later. But another party to celebrate. That's what they were leaders, find a queen, have a big party. Right? A big marriage feast. By the way, he didn't even finish off. There were many, many more women that he could have, grabbed who were still prepared. Once he had Esther, he was done. He didn't need them. He just threw them into his harem at that point. Okay? Threw them in, and that was the end of that. So he chose her before even looking at the remaining individual women who were there. So he throws his mishter, L'chol sarav avadav, as mishter Esther. He makes the feast of Esther. And he made an amnesty for all provinces, gave gifts worthy of the king. So he makes a big party. Right? When big people make big parties, everyone's coming and everyone's invited. It's really an incredible time. Then he does something really... So that makes sense, yeah? He throws a party. He's going to celebrate. Everyone should know I'm taking a queen. Then he does something very unusual. Look at verse 19, please. Chapter 2. He gathers together other young maidens. Why does he do that? Why does he gather? We're done. He's found his woman, right? The others he's kind of let go or put into his harem. Why does he do another beauty pageant? Why is he doing another Miss World or Miss 127 Province? Which is still hard to believe they still have that. But they still have that. Why did he do that? Because he's got Esther. He just had a party.
Right.
And then he has this other...
Maybe to try and make him like her. Because she's not showing her best.
Very good. Very, very good. Yeah, so she's actually a little cagey towards him, as you can imagine. So he actually tries to make her jealous. And as well as that, he wants to draw out of her background. So he's doing this to make her jealous, right? It's like, I don't know, some guys, and it's like, oh, I'm going to call my ex-girlfriend. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's like, oh, no, don't do that, I love you. Something like that. So, but that doesn't work, by the way. I don't really that name, by the way. It just makes it much worse. Okay. Mordechai, and right afterwards it says, Mordechai Yoshev B'Shar HaMelech. So the party's done. Now we know that he's in love with her because he's trying to make her jealous. He's trying to keep her in the country. And then in the same pasuk it says, Mordechai Yoshev B'Shar HaMelech. Mordechai is sitting at the gates of the king. What's the gates of the king? What's all that about? What's the gates of the king? What happens at the gates of the king?
Oh, I thought you were going to say, why? Didn't he not like coming to the king's party?
I'm sorry, what?
Didn't he not like coming to the king's party?
This was not the king's party, right? The gate of the king, not the king's party. He didn't go to the king's party, absolutely. He was the only person who refused to go. That's going to come a little bit later. But he stood by the gate of the king. Why?
But maybe you said that he likes going and speaking to Esther every day.
So he couldn't yet speak to her, but he wanted to hang outside and speak to those people who were in charge of her handlers and get information out of them. Actually, that's where people of importance went. It used to be by the gate of the city, the gate of the king. That's where people of importance went, just like you have, Congress and White House, all that kind of stuff, all near each other, yeah? Same thing. He left the Sanhedrin, lowered his position among the Jewish people and hung out over there to find out what was going to go on and what happens through her. Okay? So he's now getting involved to hear if there are any threats against her, against Achashverosh, because he wants this whole plan to come to fruition. And that's what he does. Still, look at verse 20. Now this verse makes sense. Ein Esther Mageres Moladata Ve'es Ama. She is not going to tell him where she comes from. So it's put over there. It shows that even though he's doing this, and Mordechai is there, and they're in the party, and he's making her jealous, and gets another gathering, she still ain't saying where she comes from. Right? She's nya 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 nya. Right? Kashet Siva Le Mordechai, just as Mordechai told her, Ve'es Mamar Mordechai Esther Oseh Kasher Itab Amna Ito. Okay? She literally obeyed Mordechai, just as when she was brought up by him. Remember, she was adopted by him, or she was taken in by him. Why is that important to tell? What's the concern over here? That she's right. That she could have been like, she now reaches to power. You know, Jews get power all of a sudden, saying like, oh, I forget where I'm from. She's like, no. She stayed faithful to Mordechai and her mission, and she wasn't willing to give over this information. Okay. Now it happens. It happened on those days. Mordechai Yosef Shar Melech. He's sitting there by the gate of the kingdom. Literally, he's relocated himself to a seat of power among the Persian importance. Okay. Oh, that's important to mention as well, by the way. That's important as well.
What is?
That Mordechai was used as an advisor. Okay, by Achashverosh. And actually, Achashverosh got this idea from somebody else. Nebuchadnezzar used the prophet Daniel, who was the leading rabbi of his day, as an advisor. And Achashverosh got a little bit jealous. And he's like, what about me? I also want to have someone as an advisor. So Esther is going to recommend, right, that he takes Mordechai, because he was hanging out anyway, and he was the leader of the Jewish people. Right? Although his presence went down a little bit.
What did he get jealous of?
Hmm?
What did he get jealous of?
Nebuchadnezzar. He wanted to be like Nebuchadnezzar, who had Daniel. So he's our own advisor as well. You Jews are good advisors, right? We always put Jews in the cabinet, you know what I'm saying? You don't give them too much power, but you got to keep them close to find out what's going on, you know? I mean, someone's got to be an accountant, you know what I'm saying? It's like, someone's got to do the books, right? So he takes on him. Fine, that's coming in a second, though. Okay. So he's sitting at the gate of the king, cuts off Bigsan and Teresh. Now, there were two people called Bigsan or Bigtan and Teresh. Who were these two people? So these two people were actually servants of Achashverosh and Shnei Sarisia Melech, Mushomrei Asaf. They were the guardians of the threshold, which is actually a nice way of saying, says the Midrash, I think the Gemara as well, Bigsan, Bigtan, and Teresh. Bigtan and Teresh are their names. And they were servants of Achashverosh, and they had the unpleasant task of being his bathroom attendants. Okay? As in, they would fill up a bucket, whatever it was, and they would have to go in, remove it, and they would bring in water. So they worked very, very hard. Okay? Very, very hard. And they didn't like it. Now, they are very close to him because they enter into his private chamber and they bring him water. So, yes?
Was Vashti a descendant of Nebuchadnezzar?
Yes, Vashti was a granddaughter of Nebuchadnezzar. Okay? They wanted to send their hand against him. Basically, they wanted to assassinate him. Okay? Dictators, we mentioned, are always up for assassination. Right? That's always what's going on with them. So they want to assassinate him by poison. So what do? They discuss their plans, thinking that no one can overhear them. However, Mordechai overhears them.
Where were they when they discussed it?
We assume around where, because they were basically hanging around. They were servants of Achashverosh. They were around there, and now Mordechai's hanging around there as well. Yeah. So here's another one of the quote-unquote coincidences. Mordechai hears their plan. Why do they allow Mordechai to hear their plan? What are they not concerned about? Different language. Yet Mordechai is from the Sanhedrin. From the Sanhedrin, you've got to know 70 languages. So he understood the language, and he hears their plot. What does he do? He tells Esther, not directly, but someone tells Esther, V'yaged le'Esther, Hamalka, V'tomer Esther le'melech. She goes and tells Achashverosh, very important words. Verse 22. B'shem Mordechai, in the name of Mordechai. There is a Mishnah, actually it's a Bryce, at the end of Pirkei Avot that says, whenever you have information which is going to help somebody else, you have to say it B'shem Omro, in the name of the person that did it. And it quotes this actual verse over here. Okay? And it's actually, they say, there's 40 ways to acquire Torah, and right after it says, when you quote somebody, or you say it about Torah, or actually when you see any information that's really important, you should say it, oh, I heard it in the name of. And it says when you do that, it brings Geula, redemption to the world. And they learn out from here. Because what's going to happen now is she's going to tell Achashverosh. Achashverosh is going to kill these two individuals for treason, for trying to assassinate him. And right after that, she does it. Right? Eventually, he's going to reward Mordechai for doing this, which is going to lead to the entire redemption of the entire Jewish people. So this episode is a key episode. Had she not said, Mordechai told me, and just said, oh, by the way, I overheard, or it happens to be someone else told me, we're not going to tell you who, this wouldn't have happened. So when you tell information, you've got to say the person you heard it from, and that brings redemption to the world. Actually, the entire Jewish people end up being redeemed from this one small episode. Clear? Vayu v'kasha d'vayu said they hung him on the tree, and he wrote it down in a book, the Book of Chronicles. Now, what's this book? Book of Chronicles was a book that the king, or people of power, I guess, would write down things that they owe other people, or so Mordechai's name has been written down, right? Actually, what's interesting, it says Vayikasev. Not that it was Kasav written, Vayikasev, it was like written by itself. So the rabbi said actually there was actually another hidden miracle over here, that he wasn't going to write it down, but it was written in and of its own. And in the Book of Chronicles, it wrote down, by the way, you owe a biggie to Mordechai, who saved you, hello, don't forget, to reward him, because that reward's going to help him later on when it comes to defeating Haman. And because of that, redemption comes. So it has to be Shem Omro, and a little miracle happened over here, that it was written down. That takes us to the third chapter of the Megillah. Are we all following? Are you excited?
It was written down that Mordechai helped him.
That Mordechai helped him and he owed him. So now Achashverosh is indebted to Mordechai for saving his life because he opened a big son of Saresh, and Esther was told about this plot, told Achashverosh in the name of Mordechai. So it's all coming together. So before the Makkah, now, right now there's no threat to the Jewish people. Now we mentioned already, before the Makkah, before the hit, comes the refuah, comes the healing. So Hashem, by this is always the way, whether we see it or not. The Jewish people are not aware of all this. No one's aware this is even going on, right? But before Haman comes with the decree, which is about to, and we'll see why, Hashem has already planted the seeds of redemption. It's always that way. It's always that way. Chapter 3, let's go. Achar hadvar ma'ila. What does the word achar mean? After. Long time after or short time after? Short time. Acharei is a long time after. After these things, Gidal hamelach Achashverosh es Haman. I just said Haman, hello. Thank you so much. Right, now we said there's two ways to understand the word Hamelach, the king. What are the two ways to understand Hamelach? One is a reference to Achashverosh, and the other one is a reference to Hashem. So there's two possibilities over here. One, Achashverosh lifts up Haman, which is true. He lifts up Haman, but also Hashem lifts up Haman and allows him to take on a great amount of power. By the way, Haman was extremely wealthy. Extremely wealthy, up to the level of Korach, they say, who was extremely wealthy as well. Right? What he didn't have wasn't much power. Right? When people get involved in politics for power, when they make all the money. They make the money and then they trying to change the world. Yes, Miss Kunstlinger.
How come you translate it as Hashem if it says Achashverosh after?
So the word Hamelach is there. When it says Hamelach, it's Hashem. Peshat, though, is Achashverosh. But you can read the word Hamelach, just say Hashem.
So,
Achashverosh is Haman. It's like a comma afterwards. Okay? So Gidal Hamelach Achashverosh as Haman. Or you can read it to say Hashem made Achashverosh lift up Haman. Right? Can you see it that way as well? You say, oh yeah. Oh no, he didn't. Okay. ben Hamnata Ha'agagi. Now we come to it. Agagi. What's Agagi? Yeah. Right, when Shaul didn't kill the king of Melech Agag, the king of Amalek. Okay? So now we're dealing with Amalek. We're going to talk more about him, that nation, a little bit later.
So Agagi is the king of...
Agagite, from Agag, right? Melech Amalek. So that's a code word for he's an Amalekite. Okay? V'yasem kiso me'al kol asar meshito. Right? So remember, Haman was Memuchan. Memuchan gave this advice, jumped in. He liked the advice. It was terrible advice. It was stupid. Ended up, we will see later, working out against him, right? To go and send letters to all the people. Right now, he's lifting Haman up in power. This is not good. V'chol avdei melech asher b'shar melech korim u'mishtachavim. Now those words should sound familiar to you. Korim u'mishtachavim. What do those words mean? Why two words? Korim means V'anachnu korim u'mishtachavim u'modim lifnei melech malchei hamlochim ha-kadosh baruch hu. So those two words, when used in conjunction with each other, are a reference to how we worship Hashem. There's two ways. Korim means to bend down. Mishtachavim means to prostrate. That means to lie down. What does Haman do? Haman makes a decree that everyone has to bow down before him. That becomes a law from Achashverosh. So some used to bow down and some didn't. He, however, wanted to make sure everyone bowed down to him, including Mordechai, who, by the way, refused to bow down. Now, the other Jews probably weren't forbidden to bow down, according to one opinion, because their bow down wasn't to serve him. However, it was just to honor him. When you see honor, somebody just bow down like that. However, his motivation was Korim Mishtachavim. Like you bow down to your God, bow down to me. There is a midrash that says he actually made an idol that he put on his jacket or wore around his neck. So when they bow down to him, they actually bow down to the idol. That's one reason that Mordechai would not do it. But the other Jews probably weren't really held culpable for this because they just bowed down not to the idol but to him to show him respect. But it came the law of the land. Okay? Why? Because so the king made that decree. Everyone's got to bow down to him. So now Mordechai is going to stand out. Mordechai lo yichra v'lo yishtachaveh. He's like, no way. I'm not bowing down to you, right? And giving you this kind of honor. But the word yichra means, now what tense is that? Yichra. Very good. Future tense. What's he actually saying? He's saying, v'lo yichra.
Oh, I'm never gonna.
Oh, it ain't going to happen. You can do whatever you want to do. You can fight, you can scream, you can use your power, your money. I'm not going to show you the power. But it's not just a bowing down. I mean, I'm not going to become subservient to you. Okay? And remember, Mordechai is representative of the Jewish people. This is a big thing. Now watch very carefully. Now Haman starts to get really irritated. By the way, the other Jews were probably baffled by this. Baffled because everyone else is bowing down. And now Mordechai's not going to bow down. And because of this, the whole thing kicks in. V'yomru, verse 3, chapter 3. V'yomru avdei melech, Hashem shar melech Mordechai. Madu ata beres mitzvah melech. You've now transgressed the mitzvah of the melech. Are you crazy? What are you doing? We're going to be in big trouble. So the Jews are freaking out. The Goyim are like, what are you doing? The servants of the king. Okay, I think the Jews and non-Jews were saying this. And like, he's going to kill us all. He's going to kill you out of your mind. Why do you bow down to him?
Haman's not the king.
He's not the king, he's second to the king, and the king made a decree that everyone has to bow down to him. That's the Siva. Siva lo HaMelech. Everyone has to bow down, Siva lo HaMelech. And he's over as mitzvah HaMelech. Mordechai is over, he's transgressed a mitzvah command of the Melech, of the king.
After the advice from Vashti about Vashti became second to the king? Like,
Yes, he's now going to, that's right. That's the Yigdal, the Gidal HaMelech. Now he goes up, because Hashem decides to allow Hashverosh to lift him up. Okay, so now Haman is getting really, really upset. Thank you so much. Vayhi, ba'amram elav yom v'liyom v'lo shema aleim, and they're like, "Die, we're crazy. We're gonna get killed. This guy's got money, he's power, he's second to Hashverosh. It's getting worse and worse." V'yagid laHaman leros amidu livrei Mordechai ki yagid lahem as Asher Yehudi. And like, by the way, this Mordechai, I guess you're wondering, I mean, maybe at this point Haman was not familiar who this person was. He's like, he's a Jew. Oh no.
Who said he was a Jew?
He gets told, they inform him. V'yar Haman ki in Mordechai korim mishtachavim lo. He sees, Mordechai's not bowing down to me. V'yimale Haman chema. He gets really upset. Right? Typical. All the money, all the power, but one little thorn in his side, he goes mad. Absolutely mad. So he's got to take revenge. However, he doesn't want to just attack Mordechai for this. That's below his dignity. So what's he going to do? What do people do when they get upset with one Jew? Blame everyone. Blame all the Jews. Right? They say, one Jew did one thing to me, now I hate all Jews. Classic anti-Semitism. One bad experience with one Jew, and that way even that's made up, and then hate all the Jews because of it. I'm going to kill this guy. I'm taking them all out. By the some say you want to kill all the Jews because it wasn't even Mordechai. He felt he was just doing what Judaism says. So he says, if that's Judaism, we've got to wipe out all the Jews. Judaism says don't bow down to an idol, right? Only your God should be bowed down to. And therefore, says Haman, I'm going to knock out all the Jews. I'm going to uproot all of Judaism. So it starts with Mordechai, and now all the Jews are in trouble. Can you imagine if people looked at Mordechai at that point? Yeah.
If the Church made it a decree that he had to bow down to it,
Everyone had to be down to him. Yeah.
so why didn't he get in trouble from Church?
Haman was one who was enacting it. He wasn't bowing down to him, and now he's broken law, and he was enforcing the law. Haman's enforcing the law. Had he not minded, probably would have passed, right? It wouldn't have been noticed. But Haman's one who been irritated about it. V'yivakesh Haman lashmid es kol Yudim. I'm not going to kill this one Jew. I'm going to kill them all, no matter where they are, in all these 120. And by the way, the Jews were dispersed in all these 127 provinces that was owned and ruled by Ahasuerus. So they were all in trouble. This is one of the few occasions in all of Jewish history where the entire Jewish people were in risk of being killed out. So this redemption was going to affect all the Jewish people as well. Okay? So that's why this is going to become eventually a national holiday for all Jews, because every single Jew was threatened by this. Just like at Pesach, so too over here. Asher b'chol malchus Achashverosh am Mordechai. Okay. So now, Haman, watch very carefully, Haman is going to choose a time to kill the Jewish people. How does he do it? What is Haman's methodology for killing Jewish people? The way he chooses it is not coincidence. It's actually really, really important, and it's going to have relevance for the entire holiday. What does he do?
A lottery?
He does a lottery. You're going to say the same thing? How do you say a lottery in Hebrew? Poor. A poor. Pei, vav, resh. Right? A poor is what he uses to do it. What kind of lottery? By the way, why it's Purim in the plural, we're going to discuss later on the semester. Right? It's in the plural. But poor is what it is. So whatever this thing is, this methodology has become the name of the holiday. You would have thought it should be called Chag Esther Mordechai. Of all the names to call this festival, why Purim? So we're going to see a possible answer, maybe a couple of possible answers to this. Because Pur is going to represent Haman, it's going to represent Amalek, and it's going to represent the entire salvation of this time. So the word Pur means lottery. Okay, that much we have. How did he do it? What form of lottery did he do? So the Medrash tells us he rolled dice. He rolled dice. And from the day after he decided to kill them, he rolled dice every single day to see whether that day was auspicious. And he did it right through Nisan, because that's when it started, until he got into Adar. So he went on and on and on and on. Eventually he ended up, and he got a good roll. And what was the roll he got? He got a 1, a 3, and a 3. He got a 1, a 3, and a 3. 3
I
dice.
have a question. He rolled every day.
He rolled it to see whether that day was the right day. Okay, when he felt he got the auspicious day, once this decision was made, every day is rolling which day. So he went through trying to figure out which day was the right day to choose in order to kill the Jewish people. Okay, somehow he's figuring out which day was the right day.
So not as the day went on. And the days went on.
As days went on, he was rolling every day to figure out. He ended up one day he got 133. Now, why did he think this was a good number? Why did this pattern win? It's going to end up in a dar, as we know. That's the holiday falls. Very good. Aleph is 1 is Aleph, yeah. 3 is Gimel, and 3 is Gimel, yeah. Agag. He saw Agag. He's like, oh, this is my sign. Agagi. This is a sign that I'm going to be victorious. At this time, he did other things as well. I'm going to right now. He asked questions to little Jewish children, see what they were learning. He heard the advance they gave him. He used a lot of various ways to do that. By the way, was this methodology ever going to work? And the answer is no, not against the Jewish people. This form, he was using mazal. He was basically using mazalot, using some form of luck to see rather the Jewish people were going to be killed. But we know from times of Avravinu, the Jewish people are lamala min mazalot. We're above the mazalot, so it wasn't even going to work anyway. By the way, Hashem, we're going to see later on, so I'm going to jump just for one word, v'nafachu. Hashem is going to turn around the plan of Haman and turn it upside down. V'nafachu, turn it upside down. Let's turn our dice upside down. What's on the other side of these? What's on the other side of these? Wow, you guys, there's no gambles over here. No play craps over here, hello?
Is it 6?
6 is on the side of the 1, yeah? 3 is, they all add up to 7, remember, right? Every opposite on the die adds up to 7. So it's 4, and it's 4, right? This ends up with Daled, Vav, Daled. David, right? The schus of David HaMelech. Schus of David HaMelech, of kingship, right, as it were, was going to be the merit that they needed in order to win. Now, let's get back to our lottery. This is important information. So what's a lottery? What is it? We just had a lottery here in Manhattan, $1.5 billion, which I won. And I was going to say something about it. What's the essence of a lottery? What's the essence of a lottery? Luck. Luck. It's all about, a pour is all about luck. Chance. All about chance. You see, Haman chose this methodology to attack the Jewish people because he came from a nation called Amalek, and Amalek were all about chance. As the Torah itself says, mikra chance. When the Jewish people left Mitzrayim, Egypt, Amalek came to attack them, right? And it says, mikra, they happened upon them. What does chance mean? Chance means that everything is all about chance. There is no God. There is no plan. Nothing's going to save you. This world is godless, and that's what Amalek is all about. They are all about chance. So let's see that inside. Let's see that inside. So, they are the lottery, luck, chance people. That's who they are. Everything happens in this world is by chance. There's no rule, there's no God. That's Amalek. So what do they bring to the world and still bring to the world? They bring into the world the concept of doubt in emunah. They make us doubt there's a God. That's what they're all about. Amalek is a nation, and the concept of Amalek represents doubt. How to say doubt in Hebrew? How to say doubt in Hebrew? Safek. Right? Safek. Which happens to both equal 240. Right? I believe. You look at the gematria of Amalek, it's 240, and Safek is 240. Okay? They both equal 240. There's a connection. Amalek brings doubt into the world. It's all a lottery. You think there's a God that runs the world? You think there's a plan in this world? It's all nonsense. Amalek are the archetypal first nation that pushed the concept of atheism. That's who they are. Many came after them, But they were the first ones to reject the Jewish people, hate the Jewish people, because we are the ones who say, no, everything happens for a reason. There is no mikra. There is no chance. It all happens for a reason. And the story, just to put it together, of the Purim story is, it looks like chance. He happens to overhear these two people. Happens to tell Esther. Esther happens to tell Achashverosh. Right? You see coincidence. Vashti happens to die. Every part of the story is coincidence. Or we're like, no. There is a hidden hand of God running the story. Yes? So I had a question over here? Yes, sir.
What's the significance of 240? Why do we care if they look for 240?
I'm not too sure. I shall look into that for you. Why that end up being the number itself, I don't know the matching part of it. Okay. So that's what he does. Let's have a look. We're on verse 7. V'chodesh harishon v'chodesh Nisan b'shas 12 Melech Achashverosh hipil Pur hu agor l'fnei Haman miyom liyom v'chodesh l'chodesh 12 hu chodesh Adar. End up being an Adar. So he chose Adar as the time he's going to kill the Jewish people. Okay?
So how did you pick a day then?
He got the day as well, I believe. We'll see later on. It's going to tell us. Okay? What? We're on verse 8 right now. So, yes.
So each of those words equals 240 or both?
No, each one is 240. Safek is 240 and Amalek is 240. So we connect. When you have gematria, right, you can use it as a way to see connections between things. Letters connect things, words connect things, and numbers connect things. That's what the Midrash says. So now, Haman has his day, he has his plan, he's got to go to the big boss. Who's the big boss? Achashverosh. Vayom, follow inside, we've got to finish this chapter today. Come on, we can do it, ladies. Vayom Haman l'melech Achashverosh, yesh no am echad. There is one nation, he doesn't refer to them. He doesn't say who they are. He won't even speak out the name. Yesh no am echad. Now the word yesh no means there is, but it's a very unusual word. Just say yesh. So they infer from this yashan. Right? These are people who are asleep. The sleeping people. What does that mean? They're negligent. They're asleep to their commands. We shouldn't be concerned about them. Am echad, one nation. They're a nation who is one. Ish echad b'lev echad. They're one nation. However, mefuzar umefurad bein hamim. They are now spread out among the people. That means they are one nation, but they're spread out. Now there's two ways to understand that. One is they're spread out, so they're easy to defeat. They're not grouped up together. We can easily get them. Or they're right. Very, very good. You always see, like in Nazi ideology or jihad ideology, they always like the Jews are taking over. They control the banks. They control the money. Right? They're taking over. When they want to start, anti-Semites, when they start attacking Jews, they start to elicit fear. They're coming in, taking over, controlling the media. I wish we would. Media actually be positive about us, right? Controlling the banks. I wish we could have some money, right? Constantly, the Mufuzim for one is they're disunited, and when we're disunited, we can be defeated. But also, they're a threat. There's over there, they're over there. These Jews are like rats, all over. They're cockroaches all over the place. Bein hamim, b'chol midas malchusecha, among your malchusecha. In other words, he says your kingdom is up for threat, not someone else's kingdom. He says your kingdom is up for threat. Yes.
But I thought you just said that they're negligent and they're the sleeping nation.
Meaning they're negligent in the mitzvahs. So they were. He was making a play over here.
You have to worry about them.
So they were negligent now. So now's not a time to be. Their defenses are down. The defenses are down. That's what he's saying. V'dasem shenos. These people are not like your people. Don't worry. If they go away, you're not losing part of your kingdom. They're different. They eat differently. He was saying. They do different things. Right? They drink different things. And he actually proved it. He said these Jews are terrible people. Right? If a fly falls into their wine, they take the fly out and drink it. But if you, Achashverosh, touch their wine, as a non-Jew, they can't drink it. That's how they think of you. That's how they think of you. Right? Don't keep them. They're all spread out everywhere. They're doing no good. They're all of your kingdom. They're a threat to you. He's talking him into it. He's talking him into it. He says, Im ala melech tov, if it's okay with you, verse 9, chapter 3, Yikasev la'abdam, write it down to wipe them out. Vasert alafim kikar kesef eshkol, and I'm going to even pay you Achashverosh 10,000 silver talents into the hands of the ones who do this thing, and it can go into your geniza. It can go into your geniza. Now there's a whole discussion what this amount represents. So there's a whole, the Tosfos in Tractate Megillah tries to make a calculation that actually this equals 300,000 shekalim, which would end up being 600,000 chatzei shekalim, half a shekel of every person, right? But the calculation kind of falls apart, it doesn't work so well. So it ends up being literally 10,000 talents of silver, like chunks of silver, connected the 10,000 rabbis and leading scholars who were exiled by Nebuchadnezzar. Okay, so somehow this number 10,000 either represents all Jewish people, which is a hard calculation to make, or represents the 10,000 leading scholars that were thrown out of time of Nebuchadnezzar. Why is he paying him?
We have 10,000 scholars.
Who were, you missed the first class, who were thrown out of Israel and exiled from Israel by Nebuchadnezzar.
What was the other one?
The other calculation is every Jew would pay half a shekel for the census, right? When they made a census, a mispar of the amount of people. So everyone gets half shekel. So 600,000 men between 20 and 60, ends up being 300,000. They try and make a calculation. 300,000 shekels ends up being 10,000 talents of kikar kesef, talents of silver. The calculation doesn't work out so well, but that's the kind of calculation that Tosfos tried to make.
The Jews are paying?
No, he's paying. But I'm giving this. Keneged, these 10,000, I want to have killed. Yeah? That's the idea of it.
Wait, sorry, that's 10,000.
10,000 chunks of silver, he's going to pay Achashverosh, equal the Jewish people. So two possible versions. One version is that the Jewish people should give half a shekel each in order to be counted in the midbar, when you make a census. It ends up being 300,000 shekalim. 300,000 shekalim ends up being 10,000 talents of silver. Has the same value amount. People disagree and say that can't be. It doesn't mean half a shekel, it means 50,000 shekels, and that's what it's talking about, but there's a whole dispute. Yeah.
He's paying this to Achashverosh or to the people that...
He's paying Achashverosh
So kill the Jews?
to kill the Jews.
But it says here that I will pay 10,000 talents of silver into the hands of those that have this charge of the
Right. So basically, what was the $10,000 for? And he went to keep reading and put it into Lavi El Ginzi Amela and put it into your storage house. Because it's not cheap to kill Jews. You got to track them down, right? You got to bring them by train. You got to take them to Auschwitz, right? It's a busy job. Right? This is not an easy, low-priced effort over here. So he's going to schlep them and get them in and pull them together and wipe them out. Not easy to do this. Not easy to do this. So he's willing to pay for the privilege. What does Achashverosh do? What does he do? First thing he does, look at verse 10, very important. If I was a student in this college, in my class, I would use my highlighters to highlight this part. V'yasa melech al tabato. Verse 10, chapter 3. He takes off his ring. He takes off his ring. And gives it to Haman. Why are they exchanging jewelry? Why are they exchanging jewelry? Flattering?
No collateral.
I was like collateral. Okay.
It's the seal of approval.
Right. Why would a ring equal approval? Very good. It used to be that the stamp of a king or a leader would be on the ring, and they would pour hot wax onto. You've seen the old movies. They pour hot wax onto an envelope, and they would seal it, right, with a tabas, called a seal, right. And no one could, once it was open, so that was the official mark. So by giving him his ring, he wasn't just giving him a nice ring. Here's a nice gift. I love you. What was he doing? Giving him power. How much power? Tons of it. Tons of it to do as you want. So his response to Haman is, you could do with them whatever you want. Take the power, it's all yours. Says the Gemara very, very famously. At this moment, when Haman, who was rich, from Amalek, wanted to kill the Jewish people, gave that ring, when Achashverosh gave that ring to Haman, who was rich and very, very powerful, and now had complete control over all these kingdoms, the Jewish people went into a complete shock and panic. They did more teshuvah at that time, says the Gemara, than every single prophet that had ever lived up to that point put together. This small act had more impact on freaking out the Jews than every single prophet that had ever come before. This was bad. B-A-D, bad. Haman ben Hamdasal Gagiv, sorry Yehudim, the one who hated the Jewish people. Let's finish this chapter. I'm excited. I hope you are too. Haman Haman. Hakesam Dusulach. What does he say to him? What does Achashverosh say to him? Come on, say it. Keep your money. I don't need your money. Do with these people whatever you want. By the way, he didn't mention the name of the Jewish people. Some say because Achashverosh tried to absolve himself of like, oh, I didn't know who you're talking about. I didn't know there's Jews.
Or
This wasn't true. He edited it.
Yeah.
He knew full well who they were. The Gemara says Achashverosh and Haman at this point were like two people. One who had a field with a lot of dirt on it, and one who had a field with a big hole in it. And the guy who had a hole in his field, whatever the guy who had a mound of dirt in his field and says, I got a big hole. Can I take some of your dirt? I'll pay you. The guy with the big mound of dirt says, pay me? Do me a favor. Take my dirt, level out my ground, and fill up your hole. That's the mashal. The nimshal is Achashverosh has a big mound of dirt, i.e. the Jewish people, in his field. Haman has a big hole in his field. He says, I'll pay for the dirt. He's like, pay? I'm happy to take it from you and get rid of it. Meaning I'm happy to get rid of the Jewish people. Okay? So he lets him do it. And everything that he dictated to him, every nation, Medina, so he, at this point, writes a contract, a decree, Achashverosh. Yeah? They were summoned on the 13th day of the first month. Everything that was written as Haman had dictated it to the king's satraps, to his leaders, to the governors, every province, every official, in their language. They had no excuses. Each province had their own script. Now remember, this is the second decree. What was the first decree? To bow down. The first decree was not. To listen to your wives, right? This is the wives. You have equal power. This is your husband's rather. I'm sorry, this is your husband's. That first decree went up. So this decree was being sent out, but already we know that not everyone's going to be makabel it. Okay? It was written and it was sealed with the king's signet ring. It was sent by courier, to all the king's provinces to destroy, slay, exterminate, young and old. Tough babies, v'nashim women, b'yom echad b'shlosha asar. Okay, in a single day, the 13th day of the 12th month. What's the 12th month? Adar. Because Nisan is the first month that we start counting. Okay, that's why is Nisan the first month? Because we'll see when we discuss Pesach after this, the Jewish people left Egypt in that month. That becomes the new year. Okay, and copies of this document were promulgated in every province, published to all people. They should be ready for that day. They went forth, order the king, in Shushan, the capital. They saw this decree as well. And what happens? Haman yoshvu l'shtos. Haman sits down with the king to drink, meaning he's feeling good. Va'ish Shushan nevocha. And the city of Shushan is, nevocha means bewildered. Says the Ma'amalaways, they were distraught. We're all going to be wiped out. There's nothing that can save us. This Haman who rules has power. He now wants to wipe out every single Jew. Okay? And the Persians rejoiced at this decree. It says the Midrash, a Persian would see a Jew walk upon the street and would laugh at them, and the Jew would start crying. So every Jew was being tormented by these Persians at that time. Yeah.
If the Jews didn't think there was anything they could save them, then why did they even bother doing tshuva? Like you said that they all had like a mass tshuva movement, but you just said that they thought they were.
I said it affected them. The prophet came along to scare people, to bring them to awe. They right now are being scared into shape.
So why even bother doing tshuva then? They were so thought it was over.
Great. And the answer to that question, as we will discuss next semester when we talk about Yom Kippur, Afilu, says David Melech, Cherev chadud menuchas al tzava shel adam, even if a sharp sword lays upon the neck of a person, al yimaneh merachamim. Don't be nervous. Hashem can always save you. So they freaked out, and they were very, very scared. They were being tormented already because they were like, on that day, you're dead taking your stuff, you're dead taking your stuff, right? But they were going to make teshuvah, as we'll see, and we're going to see it was going to work. Fabulous. Okay, bring your books with you next class, please. We're going to dip into the books a little bit next class, as well as jump around in the Megillah a little bit as well. Fantastic, Thank you so much.